If you've ever had an opportunity to attend a church service where a missionary to a foreign country was explaining their call and their experiences, I'm sure you were amazed at the nerve and courage one must have to leave the safety of this and security of their neighborhood to live among strangers in a different culture with a different language. For most of us, a week-long vacation to a different city or perhaps a different country is the closest we'll ever get to experiencing a culture unlike our own. Yet when we leave our home, we leave with a round-trip ticket, knowing that we have a safe place to return to. So we admire the missionary's bravery. That daring resolve comes not from the curiosity of a distant land or people, but from a calling, from hearing God's voice to follow a command, and to focus not on oneself, but to focus on a mission. And perhaps you too have heard his still small voice asking you to reach out to the lost of another culture or less fortunate. But leaving your neighborhood doesn't seem possible at the moment. Well, perhaps your mission field is closer than you think. It may be in your own backyard. For all throughout the Bible, God mentions the vulnerable people that he calls us to reach out to. We don't have to leave our families behind or cross oceans or deserts to get to them. We just have to open our eyes and we'll find them. These people are the refugees, border busters, foreign workers, and students coming in from all over the world. If you travel to a foreign land, you must put politics aside to answer the Master's call. Our time has come to do the same here in our own country. We see our world is changing, when in fact, it's already changed and God is calling us to meet the challenge. We didn't go to them, so he brought them to us. Tens of millions of foreigners have flooded into our country through our porous borders over the past 20 years, seeking opportunity only dreamed of elsewhere. The greatest should be the opportunity to meet and know Jesus, and that opportunity comes from people like you and me. Crossing into someone else's culture could be a short drive from your house. So let's look at God's take on those considered as foreigners and strangers. Deuteronomy 10:18 and 19 tells us, He, God, defends the cause of the fatherless and the widow. He loves the foreigner residing among you, giving them food and clothing. And you are to love those who are foreigners, for you yourselves were foreigners in Egypt. And also in Leviticus chapter 19, verses 33 and 34, Moses wrote, When a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you must be treated as a native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt. And Jesus transferred the same call into the new covenant when he told us to love your neighbor as yourself in Mark chapter 12, verse 31. Throughout the Bible, God reminds us that we are strangers in a foreign land. As Christians, our homeland is not this earth, but we have a heavenly citizenship. The New Testament writers made this clear in their writings. Cross-cultural missions are changing rapidly, and although traditional missionaries are still needed overseas, new fields and techniques are opening up here in the U.S. to bring the gospel to people from countries that have typically been closed to Jesus. Homeland missions are reaching out to ethnic and language groups because of the overwhelming opportunities that currently exist. Frontline warriors are called to minister here in their own backyard. They're made up of homeland missionaries, chaplains, and project volunteers, serving over 500 diverse people groups. These valiant harvesters are responsible for thousands of commitments to Christ every year. One such outreach is Chi Alpha, an Assembly of God ministry located on college campuses worldwide. They bring the message of Jesus to thousands of students, many of which are from closed countries. And still other missionaries are called to reach those in urban areas dealing with homelessness and human trafficking. Also, there are chaplains standing side by side with our military and first responders, as well as walking the halls of healthcare facilities, prisons, and asylum centers. They're even opening doors into corporate world and industrial businesses. Thanks to technology, even digital missionaries are popping up. So if you feel a call to missions, look around you. Jesus said that the kingdom of God is at hand. Your mission field may be in a homeless shelter, a tent city, or a local senior center, Or you may be teaching someone English in a library. Start where you can. The harvest is now, and God has a purpose for you, and it may be right outside your front door.